members of National Assembly from Kenya Kwanza for spirited and ensuring that they pass the finance bill, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday evening, the finance bill has been passed. The budget has been read. We need now to mop up resources, ensure some of them goes to mung beans, and I want to assure Senator Wambua, the increment of VAT of fuel from 8% to 16%, we will get more resources to invest in mung beans and ensure that we give an opportunity. So let us support this finance bill going into the future, Mr. Speaker. Let the President William Ruto have resources. We need roads, Mr. Speaker, so that we can ensure, Mr. Speaker.
What is your point of order, Senator Sifuna?
Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order number and how we can help our farmers to produce this mung bean. I do not see any relevance whatsoever between the finance bill and the mung bean and the provisions that are in this draft bill. In fact, Mr. Speaker, it is quite clear from the submissions that are coming from my colleague from Nandi that he has not read this bill. Everyone can tell, everybody who's here, who is interacted with this bill knows Senator Cherargei has not read this bill. The things that he's talking about here and congratulating members of the National Assembly, they have nothing to do with this bill. In fact, Mr. Speaker, if you were to ask him, how are those farmers who produce this mung bean supposed to get their produce to the market? They're going to use vehicles that use diesel. So if you're going to increase the price of fuel, you are hurting these things. You're hurting these farmers. You are negating the very intention of this bill. So, Mr. Speaker, I want you to rule him out of order, because it has no relevance whatsoever to what we are discussing. And please maybe allow people who have read this bill to have an opportunity to educate the senator from Nandi.
Senator Sifuna, if I go to Senator Cherargei, well, he was addressing himself to the financial implications of the bill, that at some point, for this bill to live to its objectives, it requires some finances. And therefore, through the finance bill, through the revenue-raising measures that have been captured in the finance bill, resources then will be made available for purposes of implementing and cushioning this bill financially. I think the Senator is quite in order to advance that kind of argument. Proceed, Senator Cherargei.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for ruling out Senator Sifuna, which I dismiss those assertions with contempt it deserve, and I don't want to go there. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, what I was just explaining, and I'm willing to educate him under a cup of chai and mandazi in lunch, of course, courtesy of you, is that, Mr. Speaker, with this bill, Mr. Speaker, we'll need financing. We'll need a processing. We'll need a factory. Where will the President raise money to allocate to development of mung beans factory, Mr. Speaker? And I can see your leader is nodding in agreement. Maybe you need to sit close so that he can be appraising you, Mr. Speaker. With those very, very remarks, I support this bill. I have read, and I think this is the best that will happen to every farmer, Mr. Speaker. I know, Mr. Speaker, Senator Sifuna does not appreciate the role of farmers because he lives in a city and he waits for us to bring food. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, honorable senators. Before we proceed with debate on this bill, allow me to read two messages that have been received from the National Assembly. I wish to report to the Senate that pursuant to Standing Order 46.4 of the Senate, I have received the following message from the Speaker of the National Assembly regarding the passage of the County Allocation of Revenue